running that meeting, the reorganization and the applications on very short notice with myself and Chairman Tom Kaczynski absent. Great job that you did.
Welcome.
I also want to thank the board for voting for me as your chairman for the year of 2025. I thank you all. Congratulations to Alec Fisher, our borough attorney, Jay Cornell, our engineer, Michael Fowler, our planner, and Joan Kimball, our secretary, all being voted in by our board for the year 2025 at our reorganization meeting. And yes, I did watch last month's meeting on TV from home as I could not attend the meeting. I thank you all. I now turn the meeting over to our vice chairman, Tom Kaczynski, to proceed with the applications and the resolutions for tonight's meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'd like to thank the board members for voting for me again to serve as vice president. I'm taking over the rest of the meeting. Ron is still recovering, but I'm sure he'll be ready next meeting to do the whole meeting. And I had a bout of the flu at the last minute. That's why I couldn't show up at the last meeting. And I'd like to thank Anthony also for pinch hitting. So the first case tonight is Clyde Auto Recycling, case 1612.
Good evening. Peter Klauser with the firm Heilbron Pape. Nice to see you here, Mr. Chair. Mr. Vice Chair, members of the board. The board's pretty familiar with this application, I would think, at this point. We were here last summer explaining the status of sort of the holdup and the obstacles that we faced. We accomplished quite a bit. Getting our DEP approvals in place, getting a resubmission of the county in place, came back in September and gave the board a status update and had some high hopes with a contractor that we had retained to get the ball rolling. That contractor, for health reasons, I'm told, and I have Clyde here, he'll speak to you, said, I can't do the job anymore. So our client scrambled, found a new contractor, has some things to tell you. I'll let him share with you where he's at and what he's done. And then in the beginning of this year, on January 8th, the county required certain improvements, contributions, and bonds to be posted. Those were posted and delivered to the county. The outstanding issue, which I learned today, actually, thanks to Mr. Cornell, with the county, is the contractor has to file for a road opening permit for the county. So that is a condition precedent to Mr. Cornell being able to issue a building permit. But I think we're in position for that now. As Clyde will explain, we have a contractor and he got signed and sealed plans today of all days. So if I could, I'd like to ask Clyde to come up, be sworn, and share with you what he's gone through and where he's at right now and what his hope is for the next steps.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
So guys,
Please state your name and your address.
Clyde Cameron from Clyde Auto Recycling, 6,000 Main Street, South Amway.
Thank you. Sorry.
Oh.
So, okay, Clyde, you heard me introduce. If you could just share with the board what happened over the last month or so and where you're at and what you got today in the mail.
As Peter mentioned, our previous contractor, he backed out due to health reasons. After our last meeting, we were ready to proceed. All the holdups with the town have been taken care of, and followed up for several weeks. And finally, he said he can't meet the deadline. He's going to have to pass on the job. At that time, we had to find new quotes. We found a contractor, paid our deposit, and we just got our sealed plans today. So once we take care of the road opening permit, we'll be ready to apply for building permits. We're ready to start building.
Any weather concerns? It's still winter or?
At this point, I'd like to say we're okay. It was a little difficult finding a site work contractor. Not too many people wanted to talk to us, January, early February, given the cold. We did find a company that we're ready to move forward with, and they're waiting on us to give the green light. So our next step will be to get that road opening permit, and should be good to go.
What's the road opening permit for? Jay, do you want to comment on that?
Mr. Chairman, that's a condition of the county. Since it's a county road, they need to obtain a permit from the county before they can do any work in the county right of way. So once the permit application is made, the county will issue a letter to the town saying that they met all the county conditions of approval and the county has no objection to a building permit being issued. Once I get that letter, I can sign off saying that all the conditions of the zoning board's resolution have been satisfied. And then it can go through the process to the construction office. The zoning officer will review the plans and the construction code officers will review the plans. And then he can receive his building permits and get started.
What work are they doing in the right of way? Is that a sewer connection or?
Their curb cuts, I think, are changing and they've got, I think it might be a utility connection as well, either water service or sanitary.
normal
There's
stuff?
also, yeah, there's the handicap ramps too at the corners.
ADA
That was
improvements,
actually a
yeah.
contribution I think that
Okay.
they had to
Okay.
make part of that.
Nothing unusual. Okay. All these permits that you received, do we have any documentation that it's done?
As was testified at the last meeting, the DEP, I have all the signups from the DEP. That was an issue a while ago. So that's all been resolved. The only issue that we need is a letter from the county saying all their conditions have been satisfied. And as Mr. Clauser indicated, I contacted him today just to let him know that I hadn't received that yet. And he was surprised since they submitted bonds back in January. So they were able to find out that that road opening permit is all that's needed before they get that permit.
Yeah, today immediately I called up our engineer, Frank from Grotto, and I said, Frank, could you please go get me answers from the county? I thought when we submitted the bonds that the county would issue their letter to the municipality. And he got through to that road opening department and we got an answer today that's the only thing that's open. It's a $250 permit fee. And apparently the contractors usually take care of it. So that's what we will have done here.
Okay, so what do you need from us? Another extension? I guess the extension is.
Yeah, I think if you pick, I would respectfully ask that the board continue the extension. We've been trying to stay in communication with you. I reach out to Mr. Fisher as my deadlines come up. I did in January reach out to him and he was kind enough, I'm sure, with consulting to the board to say, see if you can get a little further before you get into February, but with the site contractor weather, just didn't get any further. So I would ask if the board would pick out a couple of months from now and pick another date to keep my feet to the fire. And I can report to Mr. Fisher that, you know, with what we anticipate, we're done and we're moving forward.
I have a question. Based on your experience, and also Jay, based on your experience, how long do you think it's going to take to get this letter from the county on this?
Mr. Chair, to be honest, as a land use attorney, I get out of these projects before we get to construction. I've been involved in this so long that I've wanted to stay with them to help them get all the way to the finish line. I'm usually on to the next one. So it seems ministerial at the county. It's a matter of filing for a permit, almost like a building permit. So I don't know if Jay can help me a little bit. I'm not sure if he even knows. Again, it is something that usually it's beyond us. It's the guy that's actually going to do the work now that goes and gets those permits. But it seems to me from the county's answers today that it's ministerial. Fill out a piece of paper and send us in a check.
I would agree, Mr. Chairman. I think it is basically just submitting the application. That actually goes to the road department. I think road department will advise the county planning department that they received the permit application fees and they issued the permits, and then the county planning office can send that letter out saying all their conditions have been satisfied and a building permit can be issued by the town.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to propose an extension of 2 months. So that would be March and April. I guess April 30th would be a good date.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have to come back. I guess if you have an issue, you'll have to come back and explain what's going on.
I'll do what I've done.
Hopefully you won't have to come back.
Yeah, and I said that last time. And then, you know, a contractor gets out on your, you know, but I'll do what I've been doing and I'll reach out to Mr. Fisher and tell him if I'm having any issues. But I think the point that we get Mr. Cornell to sign off on a building permit, we should be finished with this exercise.
Okay, any board members have any questions, comments? Any professionals want to say anything? I know Jay's already spoken. Okay. Anybody in the public wish to comment on this application? I don't see anybody, so I'll entertain a motion for an extension of 2 months.
I make the motion to extend the application for 2 months.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Emma.
Yes.
Mrs. Gottstein.
Yes.
Mr. Castlebrand.
Yes.
Mr. Vella.
Yes.
Mr. Fowler.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Stay on the mend.
Next application is case number 2504 ECO Engines, 507 Washington Road, bulk variance assign. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. Good to see you all this evening. This is an application for approval to permit the applicant to place a sign upon the existing building located on the premises, together with a waiver for site plan requirements and variances for maximum sign size, sign height, and sign illumination, and such other variances and waivers as the board may deem appropriate this evening. For the property identified as 507 Washington Road, Sayreville, New Jersey, block number 205, lot number 5. I will be calling one witness to testify with regard to this application, and that would be Charles Heil Jr., who is a representative of the applicant. And I apologize. My name is Michael Page. I represent the applicant. I'm the attorney for the applicant, if I didn't state that on the record when I first got up here.
You know who you are.
So without further ado, I'd like to call up Mr. Heil. Hello.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please state your name and your address.
Charles Heil, from 10 Barber Place.
Spell the last name, please.
Heil is Heil.
And Mr. Heil, you're the representative of the applicant Eco Engines Inc.?
Yes, I'm a managing member of Eco Engines LLC.
Okay, and the applicant Eco Engines Inc. owns the property, which is the subject of the application?
Yes, we do.
And when did Eco Engines acquire the property?
We required it in July of 2022.
And prior to, or at the time of Eco Engines acquiring the property was used as an auto service station?
Yes, it was George's Auto Repair.
And Eco Engines Inc. has continued to use the property as an auto service station,
That is
correct?
correct, yes.
Mhm. And you've brought this application before the board seeking approval for a sign to be placed on the building that's located on the property?
Yes, that's correct.
And I believe you've included in your application materials a rendition of the sign, and which also shows its dimensions and location on the building.
Yes, that is correct.
If you would, please tell the board in your own words what it is that you're requesting of the board this evening.
I'm just requesting sign for the front. Renovated the whole place. Like just a nice signage on front that shows the business name, and so people can see it from the curbside, especially customers, since I'm relocating, to easily find the premise. And that's pretty much it.
And as indicated on the rendition, the dimensions of the sign are indicated, as is the location of the sign as well?
Yes. Yes, that is correct.
And the sign is also going to be lit,
It's
correct?
going to be illuminated, correct?
I have no further questions for Mr. Heil.
The illumination is backlit,
The lettering's going to be lit. The lettering. I don't think there's any backlight to it.
like a neon kind of thing, or?
Yeah, almost like a neon, but it's going to be LED and each letter will be lit. There's no backdrop to it or anything like that.
Is it going to be turned off after business hours?
I would like to keep it on after business hours. Throughout the night, it is going to be on a dimmer switch to control how many lumens it's going to be putting out. But I could set it to a timer to turn off at like 10 o'clock when it's no longer needed, so forth.
Right, is there some way we can kind of quantify, like, how bright it's going to be at night?
I can get in touch with the people that are producing the sign and get like a lumen count for you. That's a little bit out of my realm. I know headlight bulbs and what they produce.
Okay. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't, he's going to dim it, but
Well, you're setting it on a timer to turn off at 10.
Yeah, yeah, it would all, yeah, there's no need for it to be on in the middle of the
Oh,
night.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I
No.
misunderstood. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's going to be completely off at 10.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
say 10
okay.
o'clock- 10 o'clock's.
Oh, I thought you were
more
going to
than
dim
enough time.
it at 10 o'clock.
No, I'm just saying if it's way too bright, if the sign when they put it up and then it's, you can obviously, I can always control the how much is
Just
necessary.
concerned about it being on all night long.
No, no, no.
Okay. Can our planners, do you know the variances required on this?
Yes, I was only aware of a square footage variance, not of a variance for illumination or height. Maybe Andy might be able to help you on that, but the sign property is located in the R7 residential district. And the largest building signs allowed in the district is 8 square feet. But there's not it says the sign, and even in the R7 zone is allowed to be illuminated. And when it comes to height, there's no indication of a height requirement. So I think you're fine for height for illumination. But there was no actual calculation on the plan, but just running the numbers, and maybe Jay's better at numbers than I am, but I'm getting a sign area of about 86 square feet. If this building is located in the B2 zone or B3 zone, where it is permitted, for the gasoline service station, automobile service station, gasoline. They'll be allowed a maximum sign of 50 square feet, based on the length of the building. It's 1 square foot for each linear foot of building width. So again, in the B2 zone or B3 zone, you would have been allowed a 50 square foot sign. In the R7 zone, you're allowed an 8 square foot sign. You're proposing approximately an 87 square foot sign. I'm not sure if you have an actual number from sign company.
Yeah, well, I did the math on the dimensions, the height by width. I come up with 88.39 square feet. And then the variances that I was looking at was, it may be an older, but it was a sign schedule specifically for garages, that was contained in the zoning ordinances. So, in either event, we're going to need the variance for the maximum signage, size. And then again, what I was looking at in the zoning ordinances, maximum sign height showed 12 inches. Again, unless I'm looking at something that's not applicable here.
I believe that's applicable.
Yeah.
I think what we're trying to say is that there was a provision under service station, whether it's gasoline or auto, I'm not familiar with the service stations.
Yeah,
It was a square footage.
it was a square footage. Yeah, it was in the zoning package. It was under sign schedule for public garages and motor vehicle service stations. And it showed the maximum size for building sign, permanent sign. It said 6 square feet. And it illumination permitted said no. And such sign shall not exceed 12 inches in height. So those were the 3 variances that I had put.
It just doesn't seem to make sense for a garage sign that small, but
Yeah, he found.
Again, it's,
But it's 6 feet, 8 feet.
right.
yeah, and it's the sign that he's proposing is very similar. There's other service stations along Washington Road there. There's Barry's Automotive, which has Barry's Automotive across the whole front of the building. Certainly the lettering is bigger than 12 inches. I believe that's illuminated, as is the Mobile One service lube that's a little further down the road. So again, it's up to the board, but I think it's in line with what's out there in the community as well.
The building is about 50 foot wide and the sign is just about 25 feet wide, so it's about half the length of the building.
The board is inclined to grant that you can do a belt and suspenders and all the variances, whether or not they're actually needed.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, also, there were signs there before, for George's Auto Body, there were signs above each bed, and one said George's Auto, truck repair, phone number, the other one said New Jersey inspection. So I haven't picked, if anyone wants to see what was there before, compare it to what he proposed.
I think the sign looks fine. It's a great fit. It's a little artsy, which is fine. It's not just letters. Any board members have a question about the sign?
I have a question.
Yes.
First of all, thank you. The place looks amazing.
Thank you.
You did a hell of a job, kid. Let me tell
A lot of
you.
hard work, man.
What color is the sign going to be?
It's going to be white lettering. The A is going to be a green. And then it's going to be underlining green with a little vehicle that looks like it's riding up the
Yeah.
the A.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And just some advice. I pushed the board a little bit because if 11, 12, whatever they want to give you, because cars buy, what's it worth to you? How many cars go by from between 10 and 11 that
Yeah.
see your sign, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it is.
I know you guys don't want it all night. I understand that, but what's our maximum that he can do? Because it's not resident, across the street's a business. There's
It's
no
a
people.
big- In the
cemetery, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't
there's
think they'll
really
mind.
no one in front of me. And then you got the Restoration Hair Salon to the left of
Right, right.
Camarados, so there's really no one across the
What's
street.
the
from me.
maximum that we allow?
Yes.
Oh, it is. There's no max. Okay.
Well, and I think that's why the applicant at the very outset was saying that he'd like to keep it on all night. Certainly, it's not going to be super bright so that it's, bothersome to anybody or distracting to any drivers. But this way, it's kind of advertisement so that if people are driving by at 11 o'clock at night, oh, I didn't know that there was an auto service station here, and maybe I'd like to try those guys out. So, all the other businesses, Wawa is open. I don't know, I think they're open 24 hours, their lights on.
Go that far. You just go down, right down the street from me, there's a car dealership that has spotlights on all night.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
What are your hours at your business?
My hours are Monday through Friday, 8 AM to 5 PM. I do Saturdays by appointment only, and we're closed on Sundays.
So really, you're closing at 5 o'clock. During the
Technically,
week.
yeah, usually I don't get out of there till about 6, but yeah.
And this is the actual picture of what it's going to look like, right? The two bays.
Yes, yes, it's exactly how it's going to be.
I have no trouble with this application.
Okay. Does any members have a problem with leaving the sign on all night since it's going to be on the dim side? No?
Yeah, if you, that's fine. It's just something to catch the eye if you cross. That would be more than cool.
Okay.
Well, I got a question. If it's obnoxiously bright,
Yeah.
what's the,
He can dim it. He can,
what's the process? Somebody
Yeah.
needs to-
Yeah, what
some the borough, the police,
I mean, we'll put in the resolution, if the board approves of that. He's required to dim it to the, I guess, the lowest setting at from 10 PM to 4 AM, something like that. So as long as he's doing that, then he'll be in compliance. If he's not doing that, then the zoning officer can go out and take a look and say you're not compliant with it. And make, order compliance.
That way, I mean, we're gonna go into is it gonna be when it gets dark, he dims it, when it gets to 10 o'clock, he dims it?
10 o'clock. We're thinking 10 o'clock to 10 to 4, I think that. What do you guys think?
yeah, that sounds good.
I would just I would dim it at 10 and just leave it that same lumens all the way until it shuts off. There's no reason to make it brighter at 6 or 7, but just till 10, and then I'll set it on the lowest setting. Just enough so people can see, it catches the eye, but not enough to lose sight of the eye.
Right. Okay. Very good.
Question, this is all controlled on the phone, right? Is that it is, assuming?
It's my first sign I ever put on. Being everything else that got put in that shop, I'm assuming, yes, it's pretty incredible what they can do now with applications and all that.
Any other members have a question, comment? Anybody in the public wish to comment on this application? Seeing no one in the public? I invite a resolution for this, not a resolution, a motion.
For the square footage, it's kind of unclear exactly what it is. You want to give a little bit of leeway for 88.39 or 86, maybe 90 square feet would be better just in case something comes in.
Yeah, that's fine. You have dimensions, you have a length and you have a height,
Mhm.
so I think that's more critical than the square feet.
Okay, thank you.
I think, yeah, 90 would be safe.
Okay.
5 grand.
All right. Can I have a motion?
I make the motion to approve this application based on the conditions that we discussed.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Emma?
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Emma.
Yes.
Mr. Gottstein. Yes. Mr. Castlebrand.
Yes.
Mr. Bella. Mr. Donovan.
Resolution has been approved. We'll memorialize it at the next meeting and you can get your building permit.
Thank you, members of the board.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Okay.
Have a good evening. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is resolutions. I don't have the resolution since I wasn't here last month. I believe there's two. There's only two, Joan?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one we'll vote on is Insight Development Partners LLC, application 2202. Can I have a motion on this resolution? Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Emma.
Yes.
Mrs. Gottstein.
Yes.
Mr. Castlebrand.
Yes.
Mr. Bella.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan. Yes.
Second resolution is Jack Novak, 49 Hillside Avenue. Case number 24-09. Can I have a motion on this resolution?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Emma.
Yes.
Mrs. Gottstein.
Yes.
Mr. Castlebrand.
Yes.
Mr. Bella.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of last meeting?
Approve the minutes.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Minutes are approved. Is there anything else that members want to discuss?
Yes, there's one thing I want to bring up. The annual zoning board report from 2023 by John Barry. Did we do a resolution on this report? Joan?
They asked about that. We did it in December, I think, right? I forgot too. I thought we had it in January.
The report that I have here is dated 12/17/2024. Was this done in January?
We canceled.
December. It was,
Did he actually issue a report or just?
Yes, he did. I have it here.
I mean, you could put it on the next meeting, or I guess this meeting, you can approve it.
Did members see this report? Okay.
You can just have a motion to approve it then. If everyone's satisfied with it.
Make a motion to approve the report.
I second it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Is there a second? Second to motion?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the annual report by John Barry, and that will be sent to the mayor and council and also to the zoning board, I believe. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes?
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Emma.
Yes.
Mr. Bella.
Yes.
Mrs. Gottstein. Yes. Mr. Castlebrand.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan. Yes.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I have a motion to adjourn. I make the motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Okay, thank you, everyone.
The 26th, our next meeting. I don't know why I don't have that.
I don't know why.